Welcome, everyone, and good morning. We are kicking off an amazing series with Vistage coaches, Vistage chairs that we like to call Behind the Chair. This series is a small group of individuals who sit across dozens of companies at one time. They see the patterns, the breakdowns, the breakthroughs in real time. And because these aren't polished case studies, these are raw, candid conversations from the seat of the chair. What they carry from the seat is perspective that you can't get any other way. Our guest of honor today is none other than Nancy Girres, an executive coach and Vistage Chair based in Northern Colorado. With a background in executive leadership and over a decade facilitating peer advisory groups, she partners with CEOs and senior leaders to build clarity, courage, and real results. Nancy's so excited to have you for our official kickoff of Behind the Chair.
Thank you. And can I just
Yeah.
say what a cool, I love this concept and I'm just absolutely flattered and honored that you picked Vistage as your peer group of choice to talk about from our seat. So just it's such an honor and I really am just super grateful for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I am too. I'm excited to dive in and just seeing firsthand within the community of Vistage the amazing impact that you've had in the community
Aw,
is, yeah, why I'm honored to have you here as well.
thank you.
So, all right. Without further ado, after working with so many leaders and companies, what is the most common pattern that you see that holds businesses back as they scale?
I love this question. Well, first of all, I think such a unique thing about what we get to do is like at any given time, I'm watching 40 leaders simultaneously across multiple industries and the different
Hmm.
movies that kind of just keep playing over and over again because it doesn't seem to matter what the industry is or how big the company is. There are patterns that we all do as leaders. So if I had to pick one, I think the one that trips everybody up and doesn't end just because you get bigger or because it's when you first start out is that the
Hmm.
founder is a bottleneck. And I think that this is probably the hardest thing for people to overcome because the founder doesn't see it.
Hmm.
And I think it's invisible to them. They think they're helping, they think they're the solution, but they end up becoming the problem, and it slows everybody down, and it slows decision making down, and then people just stop bringing ideas because it's not going anywhere. And so the
Hmm.
direct reports just kind of give up and feel frustrated,
Mm,
and the whole company just kind of gets stalled out.
hmm. Yeah, but it is the common problem. What about in the situation with there's several in the community I know of, maybe myself included, as well as businesses that we've worked with too, that the business owner knows that. So what about the ones that know it and have reached that point of reflection and self-awareness, and yet they're still stuck? Right? What are those initial steps that you're working through in live in real time with those that are like, yeah, I know I do this. I know I'm creating this bottleneck. I'm trying to be helpful, but I'm coming in and rescuing or saving or
Yeah.
what about those folks? Because there's a good number of them too.
Yeah, I highly recommend that they take a 2-week vacation
Just see
because
what happens.
when they do, 90% of the time they come back and they realize that the team has everything they need and they're going to be just fine. They might not make the perfect decision. They might not make the decision that the owner founder would have, but by
Hmm.
and large, it's still a good decision. And until they kind of let go and trust, which it's hard to do when you're in the business and you're there all the time because your temptation to do it your way and to have a little more control. I mean, we all love that.
Hmm.
I mean, don't we?
Yeah.
That's why we, built a business. So taking a vacation just so you can get out of the way and not have that knee-jerk reaction to just make the decisions for your team or to step in and do it yourself. I think that's
Yeah.
one way. The other is just to be honest and vulnerable about it with the team. Like the team already knows.
Mm,
And so being able to just actually sit down and say, I know I have a
mm,
problem. I know that I'm the one that keeps kind of overstepping and coming in and I don't know if you've heard of the phrase of, the bird comes in and like poops on the team and then like takes off. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel that sometimes, where it's like they're given a project and then the CEO or founder pops in and adds their 2 cents and then takes off again, leaving the team going, are we supposed to make that adjustment? Are we supposed to do that? Or were we
Right.
really allowed to do
Yeah.
this the way we thought we were allowed to do it? So I just think
Mm.
some of it is distance and space, and just to alleviate the actual temptation to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes it's because they don't have the right people and they don't trust that next level. So they have to be in
Mm-hmm.
control because they have tried it and it's failed. And then
Mm-hmm.
you're at a decision point. So is what is it? What's holding you back? So having that honest conversation with the team, if you know you have the right team, but if you know you don't have the right person that you can't count on, you got to make those hard decisions, because if you don't, you're never going to let go, and you can't scale if you don't have the right people in place, which we all know that's
Absolutely.
the hardest part.
Exactly. Absolutely. Love it. Those are so good. Yeah, just take the vacation, see what happens. I think that can give quite a bit of clarity, right? And like where am I tending to have control in the situation, or what does, what does kind of fall to the through the cracks a little bit, and that being an immediate clarity point, decision point of what is needed here, or yeah, and just the trust among the team to approach it vulnerably and ask them, right? Where am I? How can we be better together? Because every single relationship among that team is totally different too. So
Exactly.
how you approach each piece of that puzzle is so important. It's not a one size fits all where
Absolutely.
somebody, yeah, one person on the team, you can be completely hands off and they just need a, specific type of communication or a specific kind of structure. And then another is totally different. So
And I'm
they
also
each need
sure
a,
that you have seen where I think it's easier because it's more tangible for founders and CEOs to invest in technology, or it's easy to invest in,
mm,
products or extra tools. For some reason, we have an easy time investing in, or even marketing. Like, we see a problem, we throw money at it, but we don't do that with people as often. And I'm
mm,
not sure why. So either to up level the person that we have, this is a classic. Sometimes when someone grows with us and we've hired them, 10 years ago, and the company has completely changed, what we
mm,
did in a marketing person or in an operations person 10 years ago and what we need today, if we haven't developed them and trained them and kept them moving and growing, sometimes we outgrow each other, partly because they might have a capacity issue, but partly because we didn't keep developing. And so now we need
sure.
something different. Or it could just be that now the
Mm,
job requires whole different skills than it did. And so there needs to be another layer. And our hesitation to spend that level of investment to get the right person, or to outsource and
mm,
get the support we need, and
yeah,
have someone be able to plug into that position so that we don't even know what we're missing. But I
right.
think sometimes we're really patient with the wrong people, and the company really suffers, and then the rest of the team
Mm,
suffers too, because we just don't invest in the people as easily as we invest in the tangible, because we don't know what we're going to get. So it's scary.
mm-hmm,
Like, I'm going to spend $120,000 on this position. I'm used to
right,
paying 70. And so that seems really
right,
scary, because I don't know. Is it going to make a difference? I think they're fine. They'll get there. Maybe
right,
3 more years. What are we going to miss?
right. Yeah, what opportunity are we leaving on the table, and how much are we really spending on
Yeah,
that mistake for that to drag out that long to figure it out?
right.
Oh, for sure. What's the most difficult truth leaders eventually face about themselves that you see?
Um, if I could kind of take on the last idea, I think sometimes it's the skills
Hmm.
that got us here are now actively working against me. So the hustle, the
Mm,
hands-on control, the having a personal relationship with every client, because I want
hmm.
that. Those virtues at $2 million works, $2 million company, that's fine. You can do
Right,
that. It's a
right.
liability at 20 million, or even probably 10. Um,
Hmm.
and then the idea that not everyone who helps you build it can help you scale it. So these
Hmm.
loyal, long tenured people sometimes don't have the capacity, and confronting that without being ruthless, that's probably one of the hardest emotional things CEOs
Hmm.
have to do. But honestly, I think beyond those two really common things, the fact that the CEO founder is the culture, whether they
Hmm.
tend to be that or not, I think one of the hard truths and the hard lessons is that it's the whole idea of our tolerance, our acceptance of bad behavior, the reaction when things go wrong, how we respond, our team calibrates to however we behave and how we show up. And I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we take for granted that we think they can separate that,
Mm-hmm.
but that there's really a cost to that. And I think we miss that, culture isn't the words on the wall. It's how the leader shows up, and then it's how that gets funneled down through the rest of the organization. But it starts with us. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, sometimes the leaders don't recognize the way they communicate and the impact it has on the team. And it can really be
Yeah.
a blind spot because they think they're being inspirational when they're yelling and screaming, and probably not super inspirational to the team.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And really the companies that have core values done really well, right? Where it's authentic, it feels real, it's evident
Yeah.
in those values. If you don't see that in the founder owner,
Mhm.
there's automatically an inauthenticity and a disconnect from like what is these values and how we operate and behave versus ideals. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm like that they are the culture holder, and it's up to them, not to build that dependency on culture to be what it needs to be, because they are also, accountable for having the individuals, the team, the leaders, the leadership around them that also match that in
Yeah.
value just
Yeah.
as authentically as it matches them. So you're creating that cohesion across the team. We're responsible as business owners to create that and to foster that. So
And I do like, when the idea that the values, they should be aspirational. They shouldn't be so, I mean, I think some are so boring and so elementary that it's like, that is not
mhm.
getting people out of bed in the morning. So they should be hard to reach. It doesn't mean that we're perfectly doing them every day, but it's
Hmm.
obvious that we're striving toward and we're acting as if we are, the most
That's our
passionate,
identity. Yeah.
excellence, whatever the case might be. It doesn't mean that everything's perfect, but they should be aspirational and things that people really are motivated to try to accomplish,
Hmm.
whatever they are.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about what got you here won't get you there, right? So what are some of the common signals you see with a company that's outgrown the way that leader, that owner has been operating before?
Um, do you mean more like what are they not keeping up with, or
Yeah.
ask
Yeah, what are signals that you see that okay, it's where the company is or going at this point has outgrown your mindset, your
uh,
approach, your behaviors, like the way in which you're showing up.
so you're going to totally agree with this because you and I are both structure and process people. But I would
Mhm.
say, things go from being, they're in my mind as the founder and they're not
Mm,
documented anywhere. Or,
right.
we could get by with just, you know, having theories about how we do things and, that's how things are done around here versus having real processes that are beyond my memory or whether I'm there to make sure, it's dependent on
Yeah.
me or it's dependent on a key person. So I think, if you're going
Mhm.
to scale, if you're going to keep growing, those processes have to be written, documented, clear, easy to understand. The other thing I would say is when we start out, there's not a lot of data to manage. And so we don't have the historical context, and the people who scale well figure out how to use their data. They look at
Mhm.
real information, they analyze it. They're not just, gut instinct that this is working or not working. If I'm
Mhm.
spending marketing money, I actually have a way to know if it's working. I can measure it. If it's sales performance, I'm measuring the quality of a sale. I'm measuring, my lead gen, my business development. So I think,
Mhm.
those that are doing really well when they start scaling get really serious about their key performance metrics, and they
Mhm.
dial those in and they would tell them off the top of their head. But not just them, the direct reports, anybody on that leadership executive team, they know their numbers. Because
Yeah.
without
Yep.
knowing that, we tend to make decisions. And I'm all about intuition and doing things on the fly. But when you're making decisions for your company, especially as it grows, you've got to have something
Yeah,
to back that up. I also think,
exactly.
sometimes we wait until something happens to then make a decision. So I think a great
Mm-hmm.
case is, our sales are in the tank and now we
Yeah.
decide we should hire a salesperson. But we wait until
Mm-hmm.
the sales are in the tank to decide we should do something about it. So something crashes and now we're 18 months behind the fix. And so that pain of that, how long it takes. So if there was a way to be more proactive than reactive, not wait for
Yeah.
something to go wrong and be able to anticipate that, but that really takes the vision and the conversations, being with other leaders and getting that perspective, which is one of the things I love about Vistage is that I can hear somebody else talking about a
Mm-hmm.
process and I'm like, wait a minute, we don't have that. Or what do you mean you're 3 years out on this plan? Like, I'm lucky if I know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing in the next 30 days. And sometimes that's the
Yeah.
first time they're presented with an idea that maybe they need to think a little more forward. But I also think
Mm-hmm.
that impacts your ability to both keep growing and scaling, but it also you teach your team to think shorter rather than how much further out should we be thinking and could we invest in something before we need it so we don't go through that lull because that's super painful. But
Yeah.
it's like, am I going to spend the money up front and not have that happen and get ahead of it? Or am I going to wait
Mm-hmm.
until something's bad and now
Right.
I got to go get the hire, I got to do this training, and now I'm going to figure out how to impact sales. But I mean, at the best case,
Mm-hmm.
it's an 18-month delay, which is,
Mm-hmm.
some companies don't survive that.
Right. Absolutely. Oh man, so well said. Yeah. Know your numbers, know where you are, data back decisions. Yeah, because so much of those, like you said, those strengths and those virtues early on and being scrappy and resourceful and kind of figuring it out, that can take you quite far for so long until it doesn't. And then decisions on that much more risk just compound. So it can be a dangerous position later.
I agree. And one other thing just totally popped into my head.
Hmm.
I know you know this in different leaders that you work with, but when you
Hmm.
meet a CEO founder who hires these top quality people, I mean, they're actually smarter than they are in their area of expertise.
Hmm.
You know that founder is going to do great things because they don't have this ego need to be the smartest person in the room. They know
Hmm.
that they've got to hire somebody smarter than them in ops, smarter than them in sales, smarter than them in marketing, and smarter in finance. Like all of those pillars matter so
Hmm.
much. But if I'm as the owner, the smartest one, because I need to be, I don't want people challenging me or challenging the way I think. That
Right.
inability to accept feedback from
Hmm.
really good qualified people that are on my team, I think
Right.
I've seen that hurt people the most. And so, I mean, I've worked with some CEOs who they hire very young,
Hmm.
not very experienced. They're more affordable. They think they can mold them. But
Right.
I think the biggest reason is I want people to agree with me and I want them to do
Mm.
it my way. And so that's as good as it's going to get. We're never, how are we going to grow or get beyond what my skills and my capacity are when I don't hire people that have been somewhere I haven't been? And I think the
Exactly.
greatest teams surround themselves with this wickedly smart array of people
Yes.
and they're not afraid or feel like they have to be the brilliant person in the room. That's a
Yeah.
magical combination.
Absolutely. Yeah. The ones that say, this isn't an area and expertise that I want to own long term and I don't need to.
Right.
And I want someone here that can run circles around me
Yeah.
in that, right? Like, wouldn't that is dream team caliber
Right.
because nothing then has to funnel through how much more freedom we have and how much more empowerment across the team.
Or innovation and creativity, right? If all the
Right.
ideas are coming from me, come on, sooner or later, I'm going to run out of it, right?
Yeah.
And the pressure that I have to be the one that walks into the room and has the big aha. I mean,
Right.
we all need that ego stroke every now and again, but if it's the thing that we need every day, we're going to have a really hard time scaling.
Absolutely. Yeah, get the ego out of the way. That's
Yep.
huge.
Easier said than
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
We all have one.
Yep. Right. We do. And it serves a good purpose as well, right? But yeah, I mean, shameless plug for coaching right there.
Right,
Getting
absolutely.
out of your own way, surrounding yourself in an environment with individuals who have run the race and been there, done that, or in the thick of it as well, that are, relinquishing this ego drive to center themselves and ground themselves with expertise and shared experience of other individuals in the room so you're not alone, right? So you do
Absolutely.
see beyond what's right here is
Yeah,
huge. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So from your lens, Nancy, a little lightning round, right? So this is
Yeah.
like whatever comes to mind first, short, quick, rapid fire. One leadership behavior leaders must stop doing.
Being defensive when they give feedback.
Mm, yeah, so good. Yep. Stop taking everything so freaking personally.
Yeah, and it just shuts people down, and then you're never going to get feedback again.
Yeah, exactly. And how much we need the feedback, right? All of us, like how much we
Yeah.
truly, truly need it. And if you're shutting that out, we limit our own potential. We limit
Yeah.
growth. That's
It's that
huge.
immediate trigger. We get defensive, we shut down, we argue,
Yeah.
we reject it, we don't look at
Hmm.
it or consider that it could be true. Mhm.
Yeah. Breaks down relationships, breaks down communication. Yeah. Yeah, it's very holistic, has a holistic approach. Okay. One thing every leadership team needs more of.
Conflict training.
Mm.
I think by and
Hmm.
large, we're too nice. And so
Yeah.
in this overcorrecting, keep everything safe, be nice, be kind. We should be kind. But the idea that disagreeing isn't kind is crazy because if you don't have a healthy amount of dissent on your leadership team, somebody's not being honest. And so I think
Mm.
we need training because we don't have training. We don't grow up being trained in conflict. We grow up wanting and being taught to avoid conflict. So I think
Hmm.
conflict training, communication training in general, but mostly about how when I disagree, how do I share that in a way that's healthy? And
Yeah.
how do I receive it in a way that's healthy so that we can actually just talk about people. And when we disagree, that's where all the good stuff is, but we back off so
Yeah.
fast that we never actually get to it. So we settle for mediocre results because we're afraid to talk to each other.
Mm. Yeah. So limiting as well. There's so much opportunity cost in that.
Yeah. Yeah. A
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. All right. And then last one, one mistake you see leaders repeat again and again, if there is one.
Mm.
One that comes to mind first.
I think I'm gonna stick with when I don't like the way something's going, I just step in and take over. I delegate and then I save it, or where I feel like I have to save it rather than letting people make a mistake, learn from it, grow from it. If I'm saving them all the time, I'm just teaching them that I don't believe in them and I don't trust that they can
Mm,
figure it out. So I think it's our savior complex that,
hmm.
our own
Yeah.
relationship with failure we put on other people and then we make them afraid to fail, which I don't really believe in failure. If you're either growing or you're learning, and so if something
Hmm.
doesn't go well, what am I learning from it and how can I take that forward? I mean, that's how we grow.
Yeah.
And so I think
Right.
leaders make that mistake over and over again because they're afraid of what's going to happen if they let it. You can't make the $20 million mistake and let that fail. And we do that for $1,000 decisions, and that's crazy because we will get so much more back if we let the $1,000 mistakes happen
Yep.
rather than having to save every little thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're building that dependency more and more rather than relieving it. So we're just pulling
Well, more
ourselves
than a
back in.
dependency, I just keep telling an employee that I don't trust them. I don't believe in them. I don't think they're worthy of the position they're in. So it
Yeah,
weakens them and makes them, when we just validate now they have no confidence and they're never going to take any chances because we've told them we don't think they can.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We see less and less of what we want when we're doing it that way. Yeah.
Um,
Good ones. Nancy, thank you so much for your wisdom and for what it is that you do and the magic that you bring and empowerment and impact to so many leaders.
Thank
I
you.
can't thank you enough and shout from the rooftops how amazing you are and
Aw.
what a blessing you've been in my life. So I want to make sure to highlight. you as well with this. Anyone in Northern Colorado, especially, we've got an amazing entrepreneurial community brewing right here.
Yep.
What is the best place to find you and connect for
Yeah, of
those that are
course.
listening?
My website that has everything from the coaching to the Vistage experience is nancygirres.com,
Mhm.
NancyGirres.com, and all the things are on there. So that's the best way to connect. And thank you.
Great. Yeah. Thank you all for listening in to this special series of Behind the Chair. We will see you next time.